All right. Let me thank everybody who watched the show, listen to the show, tell your friends and family members about the show. Somebody just asked a great question about interracial people. All right. Because see, that would be one of the things that I would be, hey, I got Puerto Rican in me. And if you're Puerto Rican, you're a citizen, right? Because we part of the United States. So I wouldn't be making that argument. But the truth of the matter is this: it would be how they craft the law. Okay. And what they probably would do if the Republicans were still controlling the White House, they would make this a states' rights issue, to be honest with you. And so what you will probably end up having is you will have one or two states that will allow people of color, people of mixed heritage to come and be in that state. You will have other states that would be, you got to be 100% white or you got to be 90% white. You can't be 50-50 or something like that. That's what they probably would do if it ever got to that point. I'm just being real with y'all. History tells us that. History tells us that's the way they work. That's the way they operate. Okay. Now let me show you how crazy the law is. All right. I've explained to you in the past that you can indict anybody for any reasons. You ain't got to prove. In fact, when you're in law school, they tell you you can indict a ham sandwich because you ain't got to prove nothing. Because you're the prosecutor. You're the only one in there. And all you're doing is telling the jury, well, this happened on this day and this time, and that person was there. And we believe the person had something to do with it. They indicted. That's all they got to say. They ain't got to prove nothing else. They just got to prove you were there at that time. Not that you conspired, not that you worked with, that you were there. You can get indicted. That's crazy as hell. That the defense don't even get to come in and say, well, wait a minute. I was there, but I was across the street. Because you could have literally been across the street. But because you was there when the person got shot on this day and time and eyewitnesses put you on the scene, you could be charged. And you ain't done nothing. Nothing. This is also how crazy the law is in this country, right? Let me show you something. It was 3 women, and I believe it was in one of the smallest cities in California. I believe it was California, if I'm remembering this right. 3 women, 3 white women who were practicing yoga. It was a hot day, so they took off their shirts. They were topless at the lake they were at doing yoga, okay? Somebody called the police. They were issued citations because somebody called the police on them for being out there nude, right? Well, guess what they did? They sued. Guess what their argument was? The 14th Amendment. We should have equal protection under the law to be nude on the beach. Now, what was that argument based in? That men can walk around topless. And under the law, under the equal protection, they're right, legally speaking. I mean, to the point where this thing has went up, and you know what? I'm saying LA, it was in New Hampshire, now that I think about it. This thing has went all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. All the way up to the Supreme Court. Literally, because you can make the argument, wait, I'm supposed to have the same protections as everybody else. If they can walk around with their shirts off, why can't we? A woman can make that argument. A woman can legitimately make that argument. And you can't even make it about sex, because if you make the, well, we don't want our young boys looking at women breasts. Well, we don't want our young girls looking at men walking around topless and looking at their chest and breasts. I mean, the law is, see, and that's the problem with this country to some degree. The law is so ambiguous on so many different things that you can sue and be charged with any and every damn thing just because people want to do something. Just because somebody want to do something. So when you look at what Trump is trying to do with moving the natural citizenship, if somebody's born here, and he's saying, well, this is to deal with the immigration issue. Don't fall for that, y'all. Don't fall for that. This has more to do with the immigration issue than just that. It will deal with the immigration issue and people being naturalized citizens. However, if that clause is removed, the law of the land is Dred Scott, which means we're property. We're not citizens. We're not protected under the Constitution. We're property. We're property. Okay. So you got to understand when these people are doing something. See, I tried to do this when Obama was president, right? I tried to tell everybody, you got to pay attention to the laws that they're trying to either create on the federal level or attack on the federal level. Because if they're creating something, it's for something else down the line. See, many people don't realize when they did NAFTA, NAFTA wasn't a bad idea. It was years later that NAFTA was a bad idea, because NAFTA was put into place not to hurt the economy then, but later. Okay. The legislation they're putting on the books today, it won't really come to fruition to 3 to 5 years from now. And then you really won't see the after effects of it until about 10 years from now. When you see them attacking a law, they're attacking it for a reason. Listen to me and remember this always, always. It has never been a law created, not one law created for the good of poor and people of color in this country. Not one. Even the black laws, the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments, if you go through them, you realize these laws wasn't really just for us. Because see, you got to realize at the time that they put the equal protection law in and the natural citizen, we weren't the only ones that was having babies and being here from another continent. Their relatives were coming from Italy. Their relatives were coming from Germany. Their relatives was coming from Europe. So they wanted their relatives to have that same protection. Okay. Their relatives were still indentured servants. This is why the 13th Amendment says the end of slavery and servitude. Okay. It wasn't just for us. It wasn't just for us. We keep thinking this stuff was just for us. It wasn't just for us. All right. It was for them too. The only law that's ever been made that helps poor people and people of color, in all honesty, is the bankruptcy law. And that's only because it's got to do with consumers and it helps them too. Hell, even affirmative action helped them way than it helped us. White women is the number one beneficiary of affirmative action, not black people. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. Look, if you don't do nothing else, tell somebody you love them and appreciate it. May not get the chance tomorrow. That's why I tell you every day, love you with the love of Jesus. I don't even claim religion, so I'm not trying to push religion on you. I claim spirituality. But got to thank the Father for giving us strength when we are weak, giving us a voice when we are voiceless, and giving us vision when we are blind. God bless you. Talk to you guys tomorrow. You've been listening to the WB. Mel, what's good?